A very good morning, children. I'm Deepa, your physical science teacher from Dr. Besant School. So let us start our physical science session again. Right. I hope you are understanding all the videos what you are watching, right? Good. Now, what we are discussing in the previous session, we are discussing about the separating techniques of mixtures, isn't it? And also we have discussed two techniques. What are they? Sublimation and evaporation. Already we discussed. Now another separating technique we are going to discuss today, that is paper chromatography. So before discussing that, I want you all to be ready with your books. Open your textbook, page number 47. Lab activity is given about this paper chromatography. What is this chromatography? It is a separating technique for separating the components of ink. For separating the components of ink, means mainly they are used to separate the colors. Okay, so for that this lab activity is used. See the materials required here. A beaker is used, rectangular shaped filter paper, a beaker, okay, pencil, pencil is placed on the beaker, and for that pencil we will attach a rectangular shaped cello tape. Rectangular shaped filter paper. We are attaching a rectangular shaped filter paper by using a cello tape. So by fixing a cello tape to this, we will attach a rectangular shaped filter paper, which at the border of the filter paper, near the corner of the filter paper, using a black marker, non-permanent marker, just to draw a line, a small line you will draw. Where you will draw? Just above the bottom. Above the bottom, not exactly at the bottom of the filter paper, just above the bottom of the filter paper. And you will draw a small line. And beaker consists of water. Some amount of water is present in this beaker. Okay, children. So let us write the parts now. This is pencil, and for the pencil attaching the cello tape to attach the filter paper. This is beaker, strip of filter paper, and marker line. With non-permanent marker, we have drawn a small line just above the filter paper. Okay, and what is this? Here water. Some small amount of water is taken in the beaker and draw a, with the non-permanent black marker, draw a line just above the filter paper and attach one end of the filter paper to the pencil by using a cello tape and place the pencil on the beaker, mouth of the beaker, and see the filter paper is inserted in the beaker such that here one care should be taken, children. What is that? The bottom of the filter paper should be touching the water, surface of the water. This bottom of the filter paper should be touching the surface of the water. Okay, children, only the bottom should touch. This line you have drawn with black marker, that line should not touch the water. Okay, the filter paper should be dipped, should be in the water in such a way the bottom of the filter paper is just touching the surface of the water. I hope I'm clear. You all understood? Right. Like that we will place the arrangement. This is the arrangement what we should do. Now what you will observe is, after some time, as this is the filter paper, blotting paper, what will happen to the water? The bottom of the paper is touching the water surface. So the paper will absorb the water or not, as it is filter paper, and the water will be reaching to the top. Like that, by absorbing water, the water will come up to this line. That black line with the non-permanent marker you have drawn, it reaches up to that line and that place also will get wet. Okay, then remove that filter paper and let it dry. After it dry, you observe this black color will split into different colors. By combination of what colors it was made, this black was prepared, that colors it will get separated. Understood? So here you are separating the different colors of the mixture of the color. This is the process of paper chromatography. Clear, children? See in your book. Procedure. Draw a thick line just above the bottom of the filter paper using the marker. Pour some water in the beaker and hang the paper strip with the help of a pencil and cello tape in such a way that it should just touch the surface of water. Make sure that the ink line or mark does not touch the water. Allow the water to move up the paper for 5 minutes, then remove the strip from water, let it dry. Then what you will observe? You will observe different colors which are split from black color. Like this you can do by using even permanent marker, non-permanent markers, and instead of black any other color which is the combination of different colors, then it will split into that colors. This is the process of paper chromatography. Clear, children? Right. Next, separation of immiscible and miscible liquids. What is meant by this immiscible and miscible liquids? Up to now we have learned separation of mixtures. Now separation of liquids. First we will learn immiscible liquids. Immiscible liquids. The best example for immiscible liquids is oil and water. Is it example or not? Oil and water. So if you mix oil and water, will they get mixed? Pour oil and water in a beaker or in a jar, any of the place, or in a glass you take oil and water, just shake it or you stir it completely and leave for some time. Will they both get mixed completely, oil and water? No. What you will observe, after some time oil will be floating on the water because of its less density. Isn't it? Oil will comes to the top and water will be at the bottom. They will never mix. Kerosene and water, petrol and water, all this will not mix at all. So oil is a liquid, water is a liquid. So mixture of this oil and water or kerosene and water, this all are called immiscible liquids, means which do not mix with each other. The two or more liquids which do not mix with each other, they are called as immiscible liquids. Which don't mix, which do not mix with each other. They are called immiscible liquids. Clear, children? How to separate these immiscible liquids? It is very easy to separate immiscible liquids. Yes or no? Why it is easy? Yes, because here they both will not mix. One liquid will be floating on the other liquid. So easily we can separate. So the device used to separate the immiscible liquids is separating funnel. We will use separating funnel for separating immiscible liquids. Very easily we can separate by using this separating funnel. You can see here, let us take the mixture of oil and water. Okay. Or we can also do the separation of mixture of kerosene and water. So in a funnel, see this is what the separating funnel. You all can see. You all are having textbook. In your textbook you can see. Page number 48 you can see separating funnel. Okay, you can see separating funnel. This is the shape. At the top what is there? It is having a this funnel. In this funnel you pour water and kerosene. Okay, and both you mix well. Completely you mix, shake it by closing with the cork. And to hold the separating funnel, this is the stand. Okay, children. Now what is there? Water and kerosene oil is there. At the bottom stopcock is there. What is this stopcock? Which acts like a what we say, if you turn this one, okay, like tap, how it will be. If you close it, it will stop. If you open it, the water will flow. The same way this stopcock. If you close it, it will not allow the liquid to come down. If you open it, then the liquid starts falling down. You see at the bottom there is an opening or not? So from the opening, from that gap, the liquid will come down from the separating funnel. That is the use of stopcock. Understood, children? So fill the stopcock with water and kerosene oil. Fill the separating funnel with water and kerosene oil. Close the stopcock. First be careful, close the stopcock. Then fill with water and kerosene oil in the separating funnel and shake it. Completely shake it and leave like that for 15 minutes. 10 minutes or 15 minutes. What you will observe? You can see that kerosene oil will be floating on water. Kerosene oil will come to the top and water will remain at the bottom. Now, after they settled like this, top and bottom, now slowly open the stopcock. Only some amount of stopcock you open. What will happen? What I told you, what will happen if you open? Yes, the water starts coming down. So keep a beaker at the bottom and collect the water. Okay, slowly water will be falling down. Carefully observe when water is coming down. Once the layer of the kerosene oil comes near the stopcock, close the stopcock. Allow the water to flow like that. Here, this is the kerosene oil layer, isn't it? Once this layer came near the stopcock, just to close the stopcock. You understood? Now is water and kerosene oil separated or not? Water is collected in the beaker, whereas this kerosene oil is remained in the separating funnel. Am I clear? Like this we can separate the miscible liquids by using we can separate the immiscible liquids by using separating funnel. Understood? The main part which is responsible for this separating is stopcock. Clear, children? I hope I am clear. Right. This is how we will separate the immiscible liquids. Even you can see in your textbook. Take a separating funnel and pour the mixture of kerosene and water in it. Let it stand undisturbed for some time, so that separate layers of oil and water are formed. Open the stopcock of the separating funnel and pour out the lower layer, water, carefully. Close the stopcock of the separating funnel as the oil reaches the stopcock. The underlying principle is that the immiscible liquids separate out into layers depending on their densities. Lower density oil will float at the top. More density water will come to the bottom. In the same way, diesel is immiscible in water. The bright rainbow pattern seen often during rainy season when the diesel drops fall on the road are the result of thin film of diesel on water. Have you seen like this? In rainy seasons on the road you can see like colors. Okay, like what is that? Rainbow colors like that you will see on the road. Why that colors are forming? That is nothing but the oil which is floating on water, and the light falls on that oil and seems like that colors, appears like that colors, like this. See, drop of diesel on wet road. So this is the diesel which is overflowed from the vehicles on the road consisting of water. Then this diesel will be floating on water. They will not mix because they are immiscible liquids. Like this we will separate the two immiscible liquids. Clear, children? Next, separation of mixture of miscible liquids. Up to now we learnt about immiscible liquids. Now we are going to learn about miscible liquids. What is meant by miscible liquids? Which when two or more liquids will mix each other like alcohol and water. Liquids will mix with each other. They will get completely mixed with each other like alcohol and water. Can we separate easily by separating funnel? We can't separate, isn't it? So liquids which will mix with each other, alcohol and water. And another example also there, that is acetone and water. We can also consider acetone. We can also consider acetone and water. This is also, we can say they are also miscible liquids. Clear, children? Understood? See how we will do this separation of miscible liquids. There are two processes for separation of miscible liquids. One is distillation, another one is fractional distillation. So which process we should use? What are the two processes of separation of miscible liquids is? One is distillation. One is distillation, the other one is fractional distillation. One is distillation, the other one is fractional distillation. These are the two methods for the separation of miscible liquids. So when we will use, which process will be used when? That let us see. This distillation process we will use when the difference in the boiling points, the difference in the boiling points of two liquids is more than 25 degrees. Then we will use this process of distillation. Two liquids are mixed, we told, no? The difference in the boiling point of the two liquids should be more than 25 degrees Celsius. Like example, acetone and water. Acetone and water. We all know that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Yes or no? Whereas the boiling point of acetone will be much less than 100 degrees Celsius. It should be compulsory, difference between these two should be compulsory more than 25 degrees Celsius. Isn't it? That means here this boiling point should be, if suppose acetone boiling point is less than water, that is sure. So its boiling point should be 75 degrees or below 75. Its boiling point should be less than or equal to 75 degrees Celsius. The boiling point of acetone should be less than or equal to 75 degrees Celsius. Then they both can be separated by the process of distillation. It is 100 degrees. So the difference between these two liquids boiling points should be more than 25. What is the difference? 100 minus 75, it is 25. So it should be compulsory, not equal to also. We can consider it as less than. Should be less than 75 degrees Celsius. Then the difference will be between these two will be more than 25 degrees Celsius. Then only we can use this process of distillation. Understood? But there will be some miscible liquids which the boiling point will be, the difference in the boiling point between the both will be less than 25 degrees Celsius. Then what we should do? We will use the process of fractional distillation. When we will use this, the difference in the boiling points of two liquids is less than 75 degrees, less than 25 degrees Celsius. Then we will use the process of fractional distillation. Suppose two liquids are there. Okay, one liquid is A and another liquid is B. For example, I am telling. Suppose this liquid is boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius, whereas this liquid boiling point is some 85 degrees Celsius. Then what is the difference in the boiling point? The difference is 15 degrees Celsius, which is less than 25 degrees Celsius. Then we should use this method of fractional distillation. If the difference in the boiling points is more than 25 degrees Celsius, okay, suppose acetone you take, if its boiling point, let us consider its boiling point as some 60 degrees Celsius. Then what is the difference between these two boiling points? 40 degrees Celsius, which is more than 25 degrees Celsius. Then we will use distillation process. If the difference in the boiling points is less than 25 degrees Celsius, then we will use fractional distillation process. Am I clear, children? Very important, this answer he will ask. Difference between distillation and fractional distillation. When do we use distillation process and when do we use fractional distillation process? Please note down. Okay, children. Now let us see what is this distillation process. We see the apparatus diagram, you will understand the process. With the diagram easily you can write the process in your own procedure you can write. So for this what is required is a round bottom flask, which we call it as distillation flask. We shall use a round bottom flask which is called as distillation flask, and in this flask we will take a mixture of acetone and water, and for this flask connected condenser is connected for this. What for condenser? What for condenser? For cooling process. This is what this condenser. Condenser is for cooling process. The vapors will enter into it and they will get cooled. And here a beaker to collect the liquid which came out. Condenser is having water outlet and for sending the cold water inside for cooling purpose. Okay, and this flask is closed with a one hole rubber stopper. It is closed with a one hole rubber stopper, and in this one hole we will insert a thermometer. A thermometer is inserted in this to record the reading, and this flask is placed on a stand. And here spirit lamp as usual, sorry, not spirit lamp, Bunsen burner. For heating purpose, and this flask we cannot hold with the hand, isn't it? So we will use a stand, retort stand. And it is connected to that retort stand clamp. We will use the clamp for connecting this round bottom flask. Now we shall write the parts. This is thermometer. Okay, and here this is water outlet. And this is water condenser. Condenser means cooler. Water condenser. And this is for cold water in, to send the cold water inside. And in this what is collected? Acetone is collected, which came out, separated from water and came outside. And what is there in this mixture? Mixture of acetone and water. And what is this? This is distillation flask. Distillation flask. And this is clamp, stand, retort stand, clamp. Okay, children. So with this, I think you can understand the procedure easily. You will take a round bottom flask and pour a mixture of acetone and water in that flask. Okay, and what you will do? That flask, you fix a condenser, water condenser for cooling purpose, and close with one hole rubber cork and place a thermometer in that hole, and take a beaker and keep at the bottom of the condenser, near the tip of the condenser, to collect the liquid which is separated from water. Okay, children, now start heating with the Bunsen burner. Now we will start heating using Bunsen burner. Now when it is heating, what will happen here? Acetone and water is there. As we discussed, acetone is having very less boiling point compared to water. So acetone starts boiling first before the water starts boiling. Before water starts boiling, acetone only will start boiling. And when acetone boils, it converts into vapors. After reaching its boiling point, it converts into vapors. That vapors will rises up and enters into this condenser. So all the acetone vapors are first reaching the condenser. There in condenser, what will happen to the vapors? Vapors will get cool. Which vapors? Acetone vapors. Acetone vapors will get cool, and then again that vapors converts into liquid, and that liquid enters into that beaker. Like this, all the acetone present in this will be collected there, separated and collected in that small beaker, whereas water will remain in this round bottom flask, because before water reaches its boiling point, all the acetone will be collected there. This is the reason the difference in the boiling point between the two liquids should be greater than 25 degrees. If it is less than 25, before one liquid completely converts into vapor and reaches there, the other liquid also starts boiling. So again both the vapors will mix so that they cannot be separated. So we will use this process when the difference in the liquids, two liquids will be, difference in the boiling points of two liquids will be more than 25 degrees Celsius. Then we will use this distillation process. I hope I am clear, children. Right. Then fractional distillation. When we will use this fractional distillation process as we discussed now? Fractional distillation when the difference in the boiling points of two liquids is less than 25 degrees Celsius. Then what is this fractional distillation? The only difference between this fractional distillation and distillation is this flask will have a fractionating column. I will draw again. All the parts are same, children. The only difference is fractional distillation have a fractionating column extra. That's it. So this flask will be closed with a one-hole rubber cork, and it will have an extra part called as fractionating column. That is the only difference. Which this fractionating column consists of glass beads. What will be there in this fractionating column? There will be glass beads. And for this fractionating column, this condenser is fixed. Here the condenser is fixed to this fractionating column. That's all. That is the only difference. Remaining all are same. And here in this one hole rubber cork, you will fix the thermometer for knowing the temperature. Okay, remaining all are same. Here we have taken the mixture and a retort stand for holding this and a clamp for holding this round bottom flask. Okay, children? See, remaining all are same. Then it is placed on a stand and spirit lamp. Sorry, not spirit lamp, Bunsen burner. For heating this mixture, round bottom flask. All the parts are same, remaining all parts are same. Okay, here what we have taken? We have taken the mixture of two liquids whose boiling point, difference in the boiling point is less than 25 degrees Celsius, and this is the main part. What is this? Fractionating column. Fractionating column consisting of glass beads. What does this fractionating column consist? Consists of small glass beads. It consists of. Remaining all parts are same. Thermometer, cork. Here this is water outlet. Water condenser. And here cold water in. or remaining all these are same children, and this is for collecting the pure liquid component without any mixture. Okay, all the other are same. The only difference in distillation and fractional distillation is this fractionating column. For round bottom flask, a fractionating column is fixed, which consists of small glass beads and thermometer to measure the temperature. Okay, now as the difference is what I say, difference in the boiling points is less than 25 degrees Celsius. What is the use of this fractionating column? It is a tube packed with glass beads, and the beads provide maximum possible surface area for the vapors to cool and condense repeatedly. But these glass beads will provide the maximum surface area for the beads to get cool and get condense repeatedly, continuously. They will separate them so that only one liquid will vapors will enter. Okay, whereas for the other liquid vapors to enter, it takes a lot of time. In the meanwhile, the first liquid which entered will get cooled and collected in this. Am I clear, children? This is what fractionating column, the main difference between the distillation and fractional distillation process. That's all. Remaining all are same. Very, very, very important, these two diagrams, and also the difference between this distillation and fractional distillation process. Am I clear, children? I hope you all understood that. Right. In the same way, even we can separate the mixture of gases present in the air. Does air consist of only one gas, oxygen or carbon dioxide? Or no, we know that air is a mixture of gases. We can also separate that gases, which we are going to learn in our next session. Clear, children? So in today's session, we learned some of the separating process. What are they? Paper chromatography to separate the ink, colors, dyes. Okay, and separating funnel to separate the immiscible liquids, and distillation and fractional distillation to separate the miscible liquids. These are the topics we learned today. In the next session, we are going to learn how to separate the different gases in the air. Okay, children? So read the textbook and highlight all the keywords. Okay, thank you.